I guess you guys know there might have been a debate last night. Maybe there's an election in November, so certainly that seems to be top of mind for many, and kind of clogging up a bit of the news cycle. So forgive me, but I feel like Congress isn't doing a whole lot, and everybody's sort of in a holding pattern until November, and then we kind of know what the next 4 years may look like, and then start to make moves based on that. So, to be honest, other than celebrity news of like titanium grills and those types of things, there's not a ton happening in the world of dental news. There are a few things which I think you might find of interest. We've talked a lot about the Dentist and Dental Hygiene Compact. There are 10 states currently that have signed on to that. Well, that group, the way that the rules were written about the compact, they had to have 7 states to be the benchmark, and then they could form an entity. The entity has been formed. They had their first meeting in late August. That was their first board meeting. They had an elected representative from each state that would represent that particular state's compact. Feels a little bit like the Declaration of Independence was going to be written or something as we're pulling these states together. But they were starting to work out the rules. They had an attorney and starting to sort of conceptualize what this process would look like. They're also actively building the database, which will require cooperation from those 10 states that are on board with the compact so that they have access to all licensees and their information in a consolidated format. So, if you're applying for a license in Ohio and you're coming from another state, maybe in the compact or not, but you want to leverage the compact for that state that you're moving to, they have to have access to a database for licensure. So they are moving forward, and their anticipated first license designees through the compact are hoping in fall of 2025. So I think they have a I would say it's a fairly aggressive timeline, but maybe the benchmark is how fast the government works. So maybe this is actually a very reasonable timeline, that they'll have things in place and be ready to start giving licenses through the compact, which are transfer licenses from one state to another for dentists and dental hygienists as of fall of 2025. So we'll keep you posted as that information starts to kind of unfold. Then we'll see what the requirements are going to be, how expensive is that process going to be. And I would imagine we'll start to see more and more states come on as the devil in the details starts to get worked out. Then you may see more activity on the state level. So we'll keep you posted on that. CODA is also looking at a few new revisions in their program, and they are having an open call for information. If you are really passionate about CODA, which is the Commission on Dental Accreditation, CODA is involved in kind of giving their blessing, standards, protocol, et cetera, for most educational programs, for sure in the dental school arena, but also in dental hygiene. And so it is important, if you have a vested interest in how our professionals are being educated, the type of programming they're receiving, what the requirements are for pre-doctoral program, advanced education in general dentistry, general residency programs, general practice residency programs, hygiene, oral facial pain education. All of these things are going to potentially be discussed during that particular open period. This is 5 to 6 p.m. on October 10th. That's 5 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You have to be present or at least submit your feedback through that online portal. They won't look at written or emailed correspondence related to any of the changes that they're proposing in their standards. So if you want to be active in that particular process or have your voice heard, which I think is really important, it has to be through the online portal or on that open Zoom call, which will be on October 10th. We can post the details for that later. And lastly, it is important. We've talked about this a couple of times. We talked about the bill that is the Corporate Transparency Act, which was a bill that was coming out, started at the first of the year, asking for all businesses actually, to register with the government, which would be kind of a census type format where they would get some information about that particular entity, number of employees, how much gross receipts they're receiving on an annual basis, et cetera. and they would register with the government. Well, there's been a lot of pushback and there's been a lot of delays. It was supposed to go into effect this summer, and that's already been delayed again. And there's more push. Actually, ADA joined over 150 other trade organizations outside of dentistry. I'm sure a few others in dentistry, but outside of dentistry, supporting a delay in that legislation to continue to push that out. The deadline for filing that information was year end. The issue that we've run into, and I had the same issue with my own CPA, a lot of the rules and regulations haven't actually been distributed out to accountants, et cetera, on how we can actually go forward with this legally. Who's going to help these small businesses prepare these Corporate Transparency Act filings? Where are they going to get the information, et cetera? Who's going to sign, stamp, and seal that information is accurate and correct? And so there just seems to be a lot of details that have been left out of the process. And so many are pushing now for an extension of that deadline, which I certainly think is quite possible. Given the fact that it's an election year and that there's a lot going on, it seems like it could be delayed just because it's not the time to be dealing with these types of things. So we'll keep you posted. Otherwise, all dental offices that would qualify as small businesses, really all dental offices, would have this obligation for filing at the year end. Maybe our guest knows a little bit more, given his accounting background, and he can certainly provide us some more information, but we're continuing to watch that as well. With that, that's the news.